Today, let's travel to Denmark and speak to a wonderful mom about her son's recovery.
He was in a lot of pain.
He was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
You could see in the evenings he was screaming. We are not worried in the way we were 2 and 3 years ago because we're seeing all the time that he's improving. And he's not hyper anymore in that sense, so he would be very hyperactive.
The regions in the brain that are affected, damaged, inflamed with mold exposure, and mislabeled oftentimes as autistic behaviors. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the BioNexus Health podcast series, Autism Uprooted. Today, let's travel to Denmark and speak to a wonderful mom about her son's recovery. So let's welcome Louise to today's podcast, and Louise will share her son's journey to an amazing recovery with us.
Welcome to the BioNexus Health podcast with Dr. Jodie Darshaw, who holds a PhD in integrative medicine, is board certified in integrative pediatrics, an internationally recognized pioneering clinician, and author. And now here's your host of BioNexus Health podcast, Dr. Jodie Darshaw.
Louise and Christian, welcome to today's podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. We are happy to be here.
So can you share with us, you're in Denmark.
Yeah.
Can you share with us your son's journey and, what was Igel's journey? What made you decide to take a natural herbal approach to help him?
Yeah. So actually looking back, Igel has had perhaps always some issues with his stomach. He was a very clever child when he was little. He was really good with puzzles and very sort of, when he started talking, he also quickly learned the alphabet. He was very, he enjoyed words a lot and numbers. So he was a very clever boy. He was happy, but he had some issues with his stomach and some sleep issues now and then. Yeah. But it was nothing we worried about.
It was hard getting to sleep in the early days of his life.
But then when he was about 2 years old, we moved house and we moved into what we later realized was a moldy house.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then that's when his regression started. So then we started seeing a boy who was going into himself, who got some sort of OCD-like behavior. He would say, close the drawers when the drawers were open in the kitchen. When we went to the toilet, he would had his little routine of things that he did at the toilet. And he just, we experienced the boy was getting more and more inward into himself. And we had suddenly a difficulty getting into contact with him that we hadn't experienced before.
And also the language started to
disappear.
Yeah, to disappear. Yeah,
it regressed slowly, but it regressed. And the sort of the communication, as I said, he would not be easy to contact, and he could be really angry so he was singing a lot. That was the way he was mostly expressing himself at that point. And then sometimes that would be our way to connect with him, and then sometimes he would get really angry when we sang with him and he had to start over. So we had no idea what was going on. We was of course very
you were worried and observant about what was going on with him, and why was he losing sleep, and why was he so frustrated, and also why was he being more reclusive
and more angry as well. We had a more aggressive behavior that we hadn't experienced before. And then a friend of mine, I talked to friends about it, and a friend of mine said that she had another friend who had experienced something with mold. And then we thought, okay, let's just see, make a test. And we found out that we had huge mold issues in our home. And of course, we were very worried about that as well and frustrated. And then I started searching everywhere on the internet, as I think you do as a mom, to figure out what was going on. And I found, I think I found some kind of video with you somewhere. I don't even know the context, but I found this video and I thought it was very interesting what you were saying. And it was the first time that something resonated with what we experienced, because everything else, when we looked, it was about, we couldn't really, it was nothing that resonated with what we were experiencing. And I bought your book and I read the book over the Christmas, I think. And then it took me a couple of more months and then we contacted you 2 years ago. I think it's quite exactly 2 years ago we started with you. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Yes, it is. The awareness is increasing about mycotoxins and mold toxicity and other environmental toxins that can cause, regression, misdiagnosis of being on the spectrum, and PANS, PANDAS. The symptoms that you're describing, the aggression, the OCD, the regression seen in normal development, that can all be associated with the PANS, PANDAS, and mold exposure is one of the biggest triggers for PANS, the pediatric autoimmune condition, which by now you know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So from what I, and you may recall that we ended up doing a lot of lab testing for Igel, and we found out the root causes for him, right? For his gut issues, for the different systems in the body that mold had affected him. And we started him on a completely personalized protocol for Igel. So can you share, how did he respond? First of all, how did you manage to incorporate, the herbals and the vitamins into a small child's daily routine? How did you find that? And what progress did you see with Igel?
Yeah, so we actually, before we started with you, we had started the gluten-free and casein-free diet, because we had been through something like something else where we found that, and that was so that we had started, and we had also started on some few supplements like the fish oil and things like that. So we had tried different things before we started the protocol in the beginning. So he would have the fish oil, for example, together with an orange and something like that.
With an orange, well, Luis, if I may, you guys have the best fish oil, so I'm glad you started there. The best fish oil comes from the region you're in.
Okay, yeah. So it was, in the beginning it was difficult with these things, but he was. We would just do it, you could say,
and really to explain to him that this is good for you, and we are helping you, and to some extent, I believe he understood, and by now he understands that these supplements are helping him. I'm quite certain of this.
Yeah, because now it's no problem, and it, as I said, it took a while with some of the things, but now it doesn't even seem like a thing anymore. Do you understand? Like it's like. Well, because it's so easy now. It's of course there is a routine about getting it done also for us, because Igel is going to preschool, and he has also his daily routine, and we had to sort of make it fit into this. But the thing about like getting it into him is no problem. Like he's just when we come and pick him up from kindergarten, and he has this. We have it in the car, and he goes and he grabs it himself. Where is it? He looks for it and he takes it. Yeah.
He grabs it himself now.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I guess children are so intuitive, especially when they are getting better. And he realizes, like Christian said, that it's helping him.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he wants he doesn't want to miss his dosage.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's no issue with it, because we had the worry when we started about, okay, will it be difficult how can we get these things into him, or because he, at the moment, also when we started, and that's maybe also what I've forgotten, is his behavior was more difficult, so he would also react more to it. Like he would have some reactions in the beginning, because he would be like pushing it away, and then he would be a bit angry about it. But now, as he also progressed, now he's himself.
He's very cooperative.
Yeah. There are absolutely no issues with that anymore.
So can you talk us through from the beginning to now, like what little by little, what progress have you seen, the gains you made?
So I think so. Yeah, when we did the labs, as you said, with you, we found out that he had a lot of issues that we didn't know about. So apart from the mold issues, he also had Lyme, and he had some other toxins that we found out. And as he started progressing, I think one big thing that happened quite quickly was the sleep. That was a huge issue, because he could be awake a couple of hours during the night, or he could he could wake up and be really angry, and then that really was better quickly. And then another thing would be then we also had these aggressions that we realized were really connected to that he was hurting. So we couldn't, because Eigil didn't have a language that he could tell us, but we could see on him that he was hurting. And we saw as his he had a really hard time getting
bowel movements.
Yeah, his bowel movements were very unstable, and sometimes he wouldn't have it every day, and
he was in a lot of pain.
He was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
You could see in the evenings he was screaming, and he was it was really, really hard. And as that got better, we also so he, like, his system is just better now. His bowel movements. He got another big thing, of course, for us now. So we started when he was 3. Now he's 5, and half a year ago he was what is it?
Yeah, he lost his he ditched his diapers, so he just doesn't need it.
He's potty trained.
He's potty
both
trained.
Of you, you're doing so well with English. I don't speak your language, but it's so sporting of you to do the podcast in English. You're excellent. So it's okay, if a few things get missed along the way. So overall, right, his gut improved. Lyme disease does give you a lot of aches and pains in the body, and sometimes it is just dismissed as behavioral issues in children. So you saw that his behavior improved, his gut improved, his sleep improved, his cooperation with you as he started to feel better, that improved as well. Right. What did you see about his?
Can we just? Is it okay to take a 2 minutes break, because I can just hear that we have some issues downstairs. So.
Oh, sure. Yes, let's. Yeah. Right. So you were mentioning about improvements, and I wanted to ask, what kind of cognitive improvements did you see with his brain, and did you see any academic improvements as well?
Yeah. So the thing is, as we also talked about, he's definitely a very smart boy. We know that from
Oh,
also
yes.
when he was very little. And then he actually, so his language regressed in all of this, and it regressed to the stage where he didn't have any words left at some point. And
or any other form of communication.
Or any other form of communication. So what we've seen, how he has progressed now is that he's communicating much more. He is making a lot more different sounds, and
he's mimicking us.
He's doing different ways of communicating. So he's trying out different tactics using
picture cards.
Picture cards and trying to say some sounds. He's also now very recently started to say a few words. So he would say "va" "man," which is like water and food in Danish, or close to the sounds which are there in that, and also dad. He said. So that's really, and we also feel that he's. So the thing is, now his language is still very it's like it there's a way still to go with that, but he understands everything, and we can also see now that what is advancing is that he's sort of trying himself to sort things out, you could say, or he's really, when he gets angry, it's because he's trying to explain something and he gets frustrated, but
he's misunderstood. He's being misunderstood.
But he's starting to self-regulate, you could say, or starting to not. So it's not that it's just getting more and more and more, but he's actually he can go up and down, and he can calm down again. Sometimes with help from us, sometimes by himself. That he
on his own. So he's got much better emotional regulation. I've seen him, at his appointments, and he is much better eye contact. He's settled. He's listening. He responds and smiles to his name. I mean, it's a very he's a very different child when I first met him.
And he's not hyper anymore in that sense. So he would be very hyperactive. He has difficulty concentrating now, but it's not in the way that he's running around everywhere. And he can also, very recently, I've also noticed that he's sitting down and being like in different places, whereas it would be difficult for him to just sit down, for example.
Now he goes and looks for a certain book and takes it with him to the couch and sits and reads that book. It hasn't happened in 3 years or so. So that's really amazing.
And when you watch something in the TV, he can also sit down and look at, and not being all the time around everywhere. So he's starting. It's slow, but it also came from nothing. So
it's really concentration, focus, and desire to form words and to try out different communication strategies, and also, as you say, self-regulation has become much better.
And it's just so.
Also that emotional contact is getting much better. I think he's always been a sweet boy, but he now likes to express himself when he saying I like you. He does this and put his hand on our face, and he hasn't done that in a long time. So he's also more aware of his own feelings and his own situation and relation to us.
And I think for us, what our experience on this journey is also that it has been it was somehow a slow regression and a slow improvement as well. But we have so much faith now that he can develop. He has it all in him. So it's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of being patient. You can say we are not worried in the way we were 2 and 3 years ago, because we're seeing all the time that he's improving and he's happy. He's becoming a very happy child again, and that's really that's the most important for us in all of this, I think.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more.
To have him back with us, because we felt at one point that he was lost, because we couldn't we didn't know what was happening. So
Yes, and you have your little boy back. He's doing well at school. Teachers are positive about him. He's doing well at home with his sister. So overall, I think Christian mentioned emotional growth has been happening as well for Igel. Yeah, that is so wonderful. It's such a heartwarming story. And I always, both of you are present at every appointment, and that is just wonderful. And I've seen his growth.
Yes.
Right from the first time he was on the video, and how he's grown to be this, one important thing that I've noticed for Igel is he's becoming self-confident.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So self-reliant, self-confident, and you mentioned that he's able to do more and more things for himself.
Yeah. We also feel that he also with this awareness of himself, and that makes him more confident. And I think that also, when we say about the potty training, for example, is also like he seemed he had no body awareness before, and that thing that he's becoming aware of himself in space, of how he is relating to others and things like that. He had no clue about that before, right? And these things we really. He's much more settled in himself.
Yes. Yeah, the regions in the brain that are affected, damaged, inflamed with mold exposure, and mislabeled oftentimes as autistic behaviors, also involve advanced sensory integration, like you mentioned, Louise, position in space, understanding where he is in space, the height, weight, the distance, the speed, the reaction time. These are all things that are affected in many areas in the brain. And that is what we are seeing things are getting better for Igel. So wonderful. Yes, just like you, I have very positive feedback from not only just from you, but also from Igel when I see him, and I know that moving forward, he's got a very bright future ahead of him. He's making good progress. Yeah.
And also the confidence that you are mentioning, we see that also in him exploring his body and what he can do. So now he's running out and jumping on the trampoline, or he's
nice.
on the
swimming pool.
Yeah, not the swimming pool, but the swing, and he's standing up, and he can. And the thing is, what is also really nice about that is that when he does that, we have this in our garden, and I can stand inside in the kitchen, and then he will do something, and he looks into through the window at me, very proud, like, did you see?
Right. Look at me, I'm doing it. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
For that as well, him like exploring that, because it took a very long time, for example, for him to learn to jump, or because he didn't have that, and he couldn't. He didn't know how to do it. And now he's just running around, and he's jumping in the little swimming pool, and he goes to the swing, and he's so confident and proud about, and want to let us know that he knows himself, that he's able at doing these things.
And sounds like he's playing like a boy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It has also been quite a nice thing on our journey that we had these lab results to kind of to back up the improvements that we see in him on a daily basis, but we also got the hard facts, or if you can say the science behind it, that his system really was improving. And that was a really good thing in the process that we did these samples, I think.
The lab results, right? Yes, the labs have show consistent improvement, and then you can see like black and white. Awesome.
I remember also I think we had the labs done in the beginning, and then maybe after a year we did this stool test again, and at that point there wasn't that much. There was improvement, but it was, as I said, it's been slow and steady.
Yes.
But I remember something you said when you looked at the second test was that it's a completely different boy. Like, and what we see are the symptoms, but what you can see on these labs is that he's getting healthy again. His body is like
cleansing,
becoming well, and that's really important as well, right? So it's not about only what we see and what we experience, but it's also that his system is really getting well, and
it's healing. Yes, it has healed. Yes, which is where you see consistent progress, because it's been slow and steady. And you haven't seen regression in spite of illness, because that is what happens when you treat the root cause, and especially with using herbal medicine, you will see consistent gains that stay with you through ups and downs, and internal repair and healing happens with the herbals. Yes, that's the reason why I had switched over to herbals for my son, so that we would get these, I was okay with the slow, but I didn't want to keep going back and forth. Now, okay, we stopped the antibiotics, now he's regressed again, now we got to start again. And so it was enough. We had tried all of that because we didn't have any other options. But with herbal, slow and steady and consistent, great. So I appreciate the fact that you recognize that, and that's now I have a small request, if time permits, like a couple of minutes. Would you be able to summarize overall Eigel's improvement in Danish?
Det kan vi godt.
All yours. The floor is yours.
Thanks. Så vi har snakket om Eigil, vores søn, som vi startede på BioNexus Health protocol, da han var 3 år, for 2 år siden. Eigil er nu 5 år. Og det vi har oplevet, det er, at han har fået et meget bedre system. Altså hans maveproblemer har
de er stort set væk.
Er væk, han har fået meget bedre søvn om natten, også som en følge af, at han ikke længere har ondt. Og så ser vi en fremgang i hans
kognitive udvikling, altså hans sprog, hans fysik,
hans vilje til at kommunikere, hans lyst til at kommunikere. Vi havde en dreng, som var meget indadvendt og havde trukket sig helt ind i sig selv og var nærmest ikke kontaktbar, da vi startede på den her rejse med BioNexus. Og det vi har oplevet, det er bare, at vi har fået vores søn ud igen, og vi har, som vi også lige har snakket om med Jody, jamen så har det været en rejse, som er stille og rolig, men
med fremgang hele tiden, og små skridt er bare kæmpestore på det her tidspunkt. Altså.
Og for os handler det også bare om det der med at få roen igen af, at vi har en tillid til og en tiltro til, at vi skal nok nå derhen.
Og der er en professionel, der holder os i hånden i Jody.
Og det vi også mødte i det her program, eller hvad skal man sige, da vi startede BioNexus Health, det var det første gang, at der var noget, der ligesom resonerede med den oplevelse, vi havde, fordi vi mødte i sundhedssystemet herhjemme. Det passede ikke med det, vi oplevede. Så det var rigtig rart at møde en sundhedsfaglig, en professionel, som kunne genkende de ting, vi oplevede, og som havde en plan for os. Og det har været virkelig, virkelig dejligt.
Ja, helt vildt.
Ja.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Okay, awesome. I really appreciate it. Well, both of you, Christian and Luis, thank you so much for joining me today for the podcast. It's,
for all your help and and helping Eigil. It's been really wonderful journey for us. So thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's been an honor and a privilege to help Eigil for me as well. So, all right.
Yeah.
I will see you at your next appointment, I guess, right? and enjoy the spring and the summer. Hopefully Eigil will grow a lot more in the beautiful weather. Yes.
Yeah, we are just looking forward to everything that's gonna come for us. Yeah, thank you.
So wasn't that such an amazing, heartwarming story? It's just, Eigil is close to my heart. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, good. So I'm sure that was inspirational, enlightening, and helpful. And I'll see you guys at the next episode of BioNexus Health Podcast. Till then, don't forget to subscribe. And please remember to share with other families that you feel will benefit from this information. And I'll see you next time. Take good care. Bye now. Namaste.
Thank you for joining Master Herbalist Dr. Jodi A. Dashaw, Director of the BioNexus Health Clinic and BioNexus Herbals, on the BioNexus Health Podcast, where we explore and share information and stories about recovering and healing from chronic and environmental illnesses such as mold biotoxin illness, Lyme disease, autism spectrum disorder, fatigue, Crohn's and colitis, mast cell activation syndrome, PANS, and more. Please help us grow our message by subscribing to our podcast channel and sharing the podcast on your social networks. For more information, visit bionexushealth.com.
Information within this video, audio, or text, collectively known as the podcast, has not been reviewed by the FDA. Nothing within the podcast is intended as or should be construed as medical advice. Information is for general informational and educational purposes only. Consumers of the podcast should consult with their healthcare practitioners for medical recommendations. Seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider. Do not disregard the advice of a healthcare provider based on any information from the podcast. The information within the podcast may contain information concerning dietary supplements or over-the-counter products that are not drugs. Our dietary supplement products are not intended for use as a means to cure, treat, prevent, diagnose, or mitigate any disease or other medical or abnormal condition.